tell you my little public speaking tip, because over the years I've sort of thought about different ways that I can go about not being nervous when I publicly speak, and a lot of people are like, oh, just picture them like in their underwear, but like that makes me really uncomfortable. So what I do instead, this is really embarrassing, but I figure since it's my last day, I'm just gonna go at it. I picture everybody wearing wigs from British Parliament, because everybody looks really funny then, and I don't feel like comfortable looking at you in your clothes that aren't really clothes. So I hope you all know right now you all have really funny white wigs on in my mind. But okay, here it goes. So on the first day of school, I gave a speech inspired by a quote from my young cousin, Allie. To refresh your memories, Allie, in all the wisdom that an 8-year-old could possibly embody, gazed at me and told me to never grow up, after having told her I'd be off to college in about a year's time. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago if I was ready to graduate, I would have broken down into tears. And I kid you not when I say I irrationally cried over everything. Don't get me wrong, I truly believe that tears are a natural and healthy part of life. However, mine were excessive to say the least. For those of you who know me best, I love coming off as sort of the tough guy, and I do not enjoy appearing vulnerable or weak. The tears and emotion led to stress, which then led to a hospital visit. So embarrassing. A hospital visit due to strange flutters in my heart, which were diagnosed as premature beats due to stress and anxiety. I'm confident that if you did not think I was crazy before the speech, that I've definitely swayed you in that direction. However, I have a logical explanation for all of this. And simply put, it's that I cannot imagine my life without Derryfield. In moments where it's expected, I find that I am rarely sentimental. For example, my dad's birthday was this past March, and for every one of our family members' birthdays, we make personalized cards. And I find that every year, my sister's cards grow progressively more sweet and sentimental, with poems and pictures, and then every year I look at mine, and they become less and less sappy with backhanded compliments, hints of egoism, and an almost unbearable amount of sarcasm. And I realize that I make these jokes because it's easier than digging deeper and feeling something more. It's been convenient for me to brush aside emotions and poke fun at things, but I suppose that now is my last time to be somewhat serious and say thank you. So I'm going to start addressing sort of whole, but to the student body. I cannot begin to tell you how honored I am to have had the privilege of serving as your student body president. I hope that the occasional assembly game, the changes to dress code and the electronics policy, and the commitment to Winter Carnival did not go unnoticed. I have enjoyed every day of serving as your president, and I hope that this year was as memorable for you as it was for me. To the faculty, I am not entirely sure how you put up with me over the past 5 years, but simply put, I say kudos. Miss Foster once told me that I was a student who had somehow defeated the system, that my success did not necessarily come from being the best at anything, but rather communicating to use my resources to my advantage. So in short, I'm just going to call myself an academic con artist. But if I must be sentimental, I want to say thank you. I do not believe that in any other school would a math teacher spend every day working with a student, i.e. me, during his free period to make me more confident in my abilities. Thank you, Mr. Lemire. In what other school would a Spanish teacher leave the building during her free period to buy both herself and a student a coffee and then spend hours upon hours getting lost in conversation? Senor Reed. Then there are people like Laurel Davino and Mr. Spiegel, who I genuinely consider sickened parents. And this is a school where the head of the school can openly walk into the forum and give out pretzels to indulge while indulging in some classic tunes in conversation. I even have come to realize that Mr. Anthony has a soft side, considering that when either of us make a sarcastic or witty comment that the other appreciates, we pound fists, even if he calls me his enemy. It's whatever. So for any teacher who I've had the pleasure of being taught by, in or out of the classroom, I say thank you. You have been integral parts in helping me shape my interest in growing as both a scholar and a young woman. This community is so unique, and I know I alluded to that during my impromptu college rejection speech. I can happily say now that I'm going to a school which I really feel should have been my top choice all along. And although I may be graduating and leaving this community, I feel as though I have stuck to Allie's advice. I don't necessarily consider myself grown up because I think that grown up has sort of negative connotations that refer to forgetting or saying goodbye to the past. When I moved from New Jersey to New Hampshire, I wrote my favorite teacher, who was my English teacher at the time, a letter which ended with a quote, and at the risk of sounding cliche, I will read it to you. It is from Peter Pan, so a lot of you probably know it. The quote reads, never say goodbye, because goodbye means going away, and going away means forgetting. I will never forget the impact this community has had on me. To the senior class, this is weird. I cannot say thank you enough for the amount of, I cannot say thank you enough times to the amount of, to equal the amount of shenanigans that have ensued. You are all remarkable individuals, and I mean that sincerely. The world is yours, and I cannot wait to see the mark you all make. And to conclude, I offer this quote to my fellow seniors. Promise me you'll never forget me, because if I thought you would, I'd never leave. Thank you for giving me the most eventful and memorable senior year that I could have ever dreamt of. In my mind, we're going to stay this young forever. Thank you.